Hi again, everybody. Another edition of Horse Race Bets with me, Ken Rudolph. We take a look at the news, notes, rumors, gossip, all the developments taking place in the crazy world of horse racing. I've got 25 years of experience, so I take all the news and information, run it through this here crazy filter, spit it back out to you, and hopefully it makes a lot more sense to you. Hopefully it's something you can navigate your way through, and even more importantly, you'll be able to pick winners and make some money. That's what we're all trying to do. All right, let's get down to business with the news taking place. You know, there's a lot happening. We've seen this trend moving across the country where racing in certain jurisdictions is in jeopardy. We saw how they had to restructure everything in Maryland, and then we're now hearing about the talk that they're having in Florida concerning Gulfstream Park, whether they're going to stay there. Then we bring it back to California. We've already been decimated in California. We lost Bay Meadows years ago. We just lost Golden Gate Fields last year. And now NorCal Racing is in further jeopardy because the new development taking place. So they've got these summer fair circuits that take place there. And the group that runs that's the California Authority of Racing Fairs, CARF, C-A-R-F, where they've decided they're not going to seek any additional dates for the summer. So this group runs the summer meetings that kind of operate up and down the coast, mainly in Northern California, the fair circuit. So they have one in Ferndale, Pleasanton, Sacramento, and Fresno meeting they run in autumn. Well, they ran all those meetings and they lost money on every single venture last year. So they've decided they're not going to seek any additional dates, which means that overall, racing throughout Northern California is definitely in jeopardy. And the situation there is because you just don't have many opportunities to race because it wasn't financially sustainable for the state. So now many of the stables that are operating primarily on the Northern California fair circuits, well, they're going to have to completely restructure. Many of those stables, those trainers say they're going to move everything to Southern California or move to Turf Paradise or move to Emerald Downs. Now, the positive in that concept is this. If those outfits move down to Southern California, you've only got 2-3 tracks to run at, right? Los Alamitos, Santa Anita, Del Mar. That usually would result in much bigger field sizes, which is obviously way better for us, the bettors, right? We get more options, usually means a little bit of chaos, or it's easier for you to handicap it and understand the pace scenario, and therefore you have a much greater win percentage and better return on your investment. You know, they've also said that some of the stables there are going to get rid of their cheaper horses and focus on higher caliber horses. Well, that's great. Once again, that helps us out for the bettors. We see better competition. The races are tougher. We can pick winners. Problem is, for those stables, how are they going to get rid of those cheaper horses? Where are those cheaper horses going to go, and who's going to pay for that? So there's a lot that still needs to be worked out in terms of what happens with Northern California racing, but obviously it's safe to say you will probably not see any more racing in Northern California in the future. And that is really, really sad to see. All right, so enough of the doom and gloom. Let's get to something that's more exciting and more positive. Woohoo! Hey, pay no attention to all that stuff that's burning over there in the corner. Focus on what's happening with the Kentucky Derby. 94 days until Kentucky Derby number 151. And today we're going to focus in on numbers. Horse racing is all about numbers, right? And the magic number we're focusing in on from here on out is the number 10. That's the distance. 10 furlongs, or 1 mile and a quarter. That's the distance for the Kentucky Derby. The reason why it's so hard is these horses, at the age of 2 and then the age of 3, they've never gone that far. Never seen a mile and a quarter. So it's really going to be about, okay, you study their pedigree, their running style, and see how they're able to deal with the competition. So with, 94 days coming up till we get ready for the Kentucky Derby, we've got 3 prep races coming up this weekend, and these are going to be challenging. Now, they're still going to offer Kentucky Derby points. 20 points will go to the winner, and that will go a long way towards securing a spot in the gate. They take 20 horses to run in the Kentucky Derby on the first Saturday in May. So now you've got the Withers in New York at Aqueduct, the Holy Bull at Gulfstream Park in Florida, the Robert B. Lewis at Santa Anita in California. But here is the problem with these races coming up, okay? The thing about it is you did not get full fields. So now you got to do a bit more work as a handicapper. How do you judge what's happening when you've got 5, 6, and 7 horse fields? Well, you kind of have to focus in on maybe 1 or 2 horses and look for something specific. And that's what we're going to do right here. All right. So we're going to line it up and start talking about what you can look for in the withers. All right. So we start with the withers, and it's probably, as far as the distance is concerned, it's the best Derby prep race this weekend because they're going to go 9 furlongs. That's 1 furlong short of 10 furlongs. That's a mile and an eighth. And that requires some work. You're going to have to figure out exactly who's got the speed, who's got the pedigree, and who's got maybe the stamina and the experience to take it all the way around. So with a short field of 7, I focus in on 2 horses. Captain Cook is a horse that's probably going to get the lead. He has been sprinting. Sprinting means going a shorter distance, right? 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs. You show speed doing that. Now when you stretch out, that speed is a bit more valuable because now you're able to get out quicker, and then the question is, can you sustain that? So Captain Cook might be able to sustain that, and I'm sure someone else will go out there. Even a field of 7, it becomes a rider's race, and riders make decisions. But no matter what they do, the horse that everyone's going to be watching most likely is Omaha. And this horse is a Virginia bred, and the horse has a lot of experience going a route of ground, and that's important at this stage because you have these lightly raced horses where all 3-year-olds haven't had a ton of experience. So anytime you see a horse that might have an advantage, whether it be with the experience or the stamina, you got to watch it. So we're going to watch Captain Cook, and I'm really going to watch Omaha, when they get into the stretch for that race coming up. All right. So then from there, we're going to go from New York. Oh, by the way, final note there about the withers. So the withers used to be a grade 3. Now it's simply a listed stakes. It's still worth $250,000, and it still carries Kentucky Derby qualifying points, but no more black type there on that particular race. So what will have to happen is the quality of horse that comes out of that race will have to go on and do some big things in order for that race to regain that designation if they decide. All right, so we go from New York to Florida. The Holy Bull is coming up, and that's at 8.5 furlongs, right? So that's a mile and a 16th that they're going to be running. And this race has produced some really incredible horses. Go for Gin won this race and went on to win the Kentucky Derby, and of course the late great Barbaro won this race before he went on to win the Kentucky Derby as well. So in this particular race, we're looking at what the horses are going to be able to do going the route of ground. So we'll take a look at just a couple of horses in here as we get set to go the 8.5 furlongs. And the thing about this is there are 2 horses in here that are very intriguing. One of them I absolutely love. If you know anything about me, the sexy horse to me is the closer. I know it's crazy because they got to overcome so much. I don't know why I love them so much, but I do. So in this race, you've got Guns Loaded. Guns Loaded has some speed, and Irad Ortiz Jr. is going to ride. Irad doesn't mess around. Some folks don't think he's that good on the front end. I'm like, that dude can win from anywhere. He's going to be a problem with this horse. However, man, there's a horse to the outside. I'm like, if you can just get it together, you're going to be fantastic. The horse is Burnham Square, and this horse debuted at Keeneland going 7 furlongs. So first off, a lot of horsemen kind of gear their horses. If they're any good, they gear them towards Keeneland because those meetings are lucrative and there's so much reputation, right? There's so much that comes with it. And so you know that if your horse can win there, you had to earn it. This horse debuted going 7 furlongs at Keeneland, had a bad trip, couldn't quite get him to the right spot, came running off the pace, looked good. Came back the next time out, stretched out, went a little bit further, did the same thing, got in good position and made a nice move, ends up running second. Came back at the end of last year on December 28th, going a mile and a 16th, and the horse was beautiful. Sat off the pace, and then they decided, I think Edgard Zayas was in the air and said, hey, let's go. The horse took off and just ran away from that field. So the horse has experience going the stretched out distance. Now we'll try to get this mile and a 16th coming up in the Holy Bull, and I really, really believe that Burnham Square, if he can put it together, they'll have to get one more race. If they could get 2 more, that'd be great, but they definitely got to get 1 more after this. That horse is going to be interesting to watch. So we'll see if the horse gets something to run at. That's important. And then we'll just see how mature that horse is, if that horse is ready to go. That's what's happening in the Holy Bull on Saturday. Then we wrap it up and we bring it on back to California. The Robert B. Lewis is a grade 3 event, Santa Anita. This is probably the least useful of the Derby preps. First off, it's the distance, right? This race used to be run at a nice distance. Now they've shortened it up to a mile. I can't even imagine why they made that choice. I don't know how it helps horses getting ready for the Derby, but whatever. There's a field of 5 horses. 3 of them belong to Bob Baffert. So basically, this race is a situation where you're like, what am I looking at, right? What am I looking for here? You're looking at really one horse and one horse only. The horse's name is Citizen Bull. He's your number one contender for the Kentucky Derby because of his performance in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the natural speed he has, and he's trained by that dude, Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. So this horse really has already shown that he can go to the front end and just completely dominate and run you off your feet. But the question coming up this weekend, there are some other speed horses in here, namely a horse by the name of Rodriguez for Bob Baffert, who's got some speed. So I don't think that Citizen Bull will get the lead outright, and I think he might have to work too hard, especially with the shorter distance now. They're going to be a little bit quicker out of the gate to tackle him. So then the question is, can Citizen Bull sit and then go? This is how you test your horses, to see how mature or how professional they can be. The horse showed just incredible talent and heart when he won his last couple of races, especially the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. It was fantastic. So now the question is, can this horse not be bothered by some pesky little speed to the outside or to the inside and just stay focused, stick to his business, and complete this task? That's really all you can look for. If anybody beats this horse, I kind of don't care, because I don't think that this is what this horse really wants to do, right? I just don't think so. So we're going to watch that and see what happens. And with that, we take another look at the 6 horses that we're kind of focused in right now as we have the 94 days until the Kentucky Derby. Barnes, the $3.2 million purchase for Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. We'll see that horse coming up soon. Citizen Bull will get the test coming up on Saturday. Those are the speed horses that I've been focusing in on. The other 4, they're not running this week, but they're closers, and they will need to continue to develop, and of course they'll need that pace scenario to set up so they can put together their nice little money run when it's time to turn for home. All right, that's where we are here. A lot happening in horse racing. From coast to coast, you've got tracks that are closing and they're restructuring things within the state and hopefully making it a bit more sustainable as they try to move forward. And we also try to move forward and get ready for what's happening this weekend and beyond. All right, that's where we stand here today on Horse Race Bets. I'm Ken Rudulph. In the meantime and in between time and until next time, good luck and enjoy.